At Four Seasons, New York, Alexei Volkov was denied a room due to his accent and physical condition. "All our rooms are full," they said. Alexei smiled because he was one of the hotel chain's main investors and owned 40% of this property. Four Seasons Hotel New York, located on East 57th Street in Manhattan's Midtown East, was one of the world's most prestigious luxury hotels. 368 rooms and suites, Forbes 5-star rating, average room rate, $1,200 to $8,000 per night. Clientele, international dignitaries, Fortune 500 CEOs, Hollywood celebrities, royal families. Alexei Volkov, 46 years old, Ukrainian veteran and hospitality investor, lost his left leg below the knee in the war in Luhansk, now uses an advanced prosthetic. 16 years since coming to America, now CEO of Volkov Hospitality Group, one of North America's largest luxury hotel investment portfolios, 47 property ownership or major stakes, significant investments in Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis brands, $6.8 billion portfolio. Christopher Hamilton, 39 years old, Four Seasons New York's front desk manager, Cornell Hotel School graduate, 15 years in luxury hospitality industry, but problematic regarding unconscious bias and disability discrimination. Accustomed to high-profile guests, tendency to make prejudiced assumptions about physical disabilities and foreign accents. This evening, Alexei was trying to make a suite reservation for a business meeting. "Good evening. Welcome to Four Seasons, New York," Christopher greeted at the front desk, his professional smile freezing slightly as he noticed Alexei's prosthetic leg and heard his Ukrainian accent. "Good evening. I have a reservation under Volkov." "Alexei Volkov," Alexei replied, his accent noticeable but his demeanor confident and professional. Christopher's trained eye immediately began profiling. Prosthetic leg, Eastern European accent, modest business attire, not the typical Four Seasons guest profile. "Let me check our system," Christopher said, typing slowly while scanning Alexei's appearance more thoroughly. The prosthetic leg was visible below Alexei's suit pants, and Christopher's unconscious bias triggered concerns about guest experience standards. "I see a reservation for a junior suite, 2 nights," Christopher confirmed, but his tone had shifted from welcoming to cautiously professional. "That's correct," Alexei said. Christopher hesitated, then began creating obstacles. "Mr. Volkov, I need to ask a few questions for our guest profile. Is this your first stay with Four Seasons?" "I've stayed at Four Seasons properties in several cities," Alexei replied honestly. "Which locations?" Christopher probed, expecting to hear smaller or international properties rather than flagship hotels. "London, Paris, Tokyo, Los Angeles, Miami," Alexei listed. Christopher was surprised but remained skeptical. "And the purpose of your stay here?" "Business meetings," Alexei answered simply. "Mr. Volkov," Christopher began carefully, "I notice you have a mobility aid. Four Seasons requires disclosure of any medical conditions that might affect your stay or require special accommodations. This was discriminatory overreach. Hotels could ask about accessibility needs, but demanding medical disclosure based on visible disabilities was illegal." "I have a prosthetic leg," Alexei stated calmly. "I don't require special accommodations beyond standard accessibility features." "I see," Christopher replied, his tone suggesting concern. "Our suites have stairs, bathtubs, and other features that might pose challenges. Have you stayed in luxury hotels with your condition before?" The word condition was deliberately othering, framing Alexei's disability as a problem rather than a simple fact. "I'm fully capable of managing standard hotel amenities," Alexei replied patiently. Christopher remained unconvinced. "Our insurance requires us to ensure guest safety. Physical limitations can create liability concerns, especially in our premium suites. This was fabricated. Hotels didn't have insurance policies preventing guests with disabilities from booking rooms. Additionally," Christopher continued, "our housekeeping and concierge staff are trained for specific guest profiles. Guests with significant medical needs might be better served at properties with specialized medical accommodations. Christopher was suggesting Alexei should stay at a medical facility or disability-specialized hotel rather than a luxury property. Mr. Volkov, I also need to verify your payment method, Christopher said, pulling up financial screening protocols normally reserved for suspicious bookings. I have a credit card on file with the reservation, Alexei replied. Yes, but our junior suites are $2,400 per night, plus taxes and incidentals. We require verification of sufficient credit for the full stay, plus a $5,000 security deposit. Christopher was applying stricter financial screening based on assumptions about Alexei's background and disability. That's acceptable, Alexei said, handing over his American Express Centurion card. Christopher examined the black card, one of the most exclusive credit cards in the world, requiring invitation and significant annual spending. His confidence wavered slightly, but his bias remained. I'll need to call for authorization, Christopher announced, which was unnecessary for Centurion cards that typically had no preset spending limits. While processing the card, Christopher continued his discriminatory screening. Our suite includes access to exclusive amenities, private lounge, spa facilities, rooftop pool. Are you certain you can utilize these features? This was implying that Alexei's disability disqualified him from luxury amenities. I don't see why not, Alexei replied evenly. We need to analyze our audience. If you could tell us where you watched our video in the comments section and also hit the like button, that would make us very happy. After several minutes of unnecessary processing, Christopher returned with a concerned expression. Mr. Volkov, I'm very sorry, but there's been a complication with your reservation. What complication? Alexei asked. It appears we're experiencing an unexpected situation. All of our accessible rooms are currently occupied, and our remaining suites wouldn't be appropriate for your mobility situation. This was a lie. Hotels the size of Four Seasons always maintained available rooms, and ADA-compliant accessible rooms were distributed throughout the property. I didn't request an accessible room specifically, Alexei clarified. A standard junior suite is fine. Yes, but given your physical limitations, our risk management team would prefer you stay in properly equipped accommodations, and unfortunately, those rooms are unavailable. Christopher was fabricating a sold-out story to deny Alexei's reservation based on disability discrimination. Are you saying the hotel is completely full? Alexei asked directly. For rooms that would meet your needs, yes, Christopher replied carefully, maintaining plausible deniability. What about the reservation I made 3 weeks ago? Reservation systems can have overselling issues during peak seasons. It's unfortunate, but occasionally confirmations must be canceled. This was explicit discrimination disguised as operational necessity. Mr. Volkov, I want to help you find suitable accommodations, Christopher said with false sympathy. There are several excellent hotels that specialize in accessibility features. I don't need specialized accessibility, Alexei stated firmly. Nevertheless, I can recommend some properties that might be more comfortable for your situation. There's a very nice Hampton Inn nearby with excellent accessible rooms, or the Courtyard Marriott has ground floor accommodations. Christopher was directing Alexei toward mid-range hotels instead of luxury properties, based purely on his disability and accent. I specifically booked 4 Seasons, Alexei replied. I understand, but given the circumstances, these alternatives would provide better service for your needs. The Hampton Inn is very accommodating to guests with medical conditions. Christopher kept emphasizing medical conditions and special needs, framing Alexei's disability as a disqualifying factor for luxury hospitality. What if I want to book a different room type here? Alexei suggested. Unfortunately, all room categories are experiencing the same availability issues tonight, Christopher lied smoothly. While Christopher continued his discriminatory rejection, Alexei's phone rang. Caller ID, Four Seasons Corporate Investment Relations. Excuse me, Alexei said, answering on speaker. Hello, Jennifer? Mr. Volkov, this is Jennifer Park from Four Seasons Investment Relations. We need to confirm your attendance at tomorrow's shareholder meeting. As one of our largest investors, your input on the expansion strategy is crucial. Christopher's confident expression froze. Shareholder meeting? Largest investor? Of course, I'll be there, Alexei replied calmly. I'm actually at the New York property right now. Wonderful. How's your stay? I'll let the GM know you're in-house so they can ensure you're receiving our highest level of service. Actually, Jennifer, there seems to be an issue with my room availability. Issue? That's impossible. Let me speak with the front desk immediately. Christopher's face had gone completely white. The man he was denying service to was a major investor in the Four Seasons brand. Within 3 minutes, Four Seasons New York's general manager, Patricia Morrison, appeared in the lobby, having received an urgent call from corporate headquarters. Mr. Volkov, Patricia approached with obvious respect and concern. I'm Patricia Morrison, the general manager. I understand there's been some confusion about your reservation. Christopher stood frozen, realizing his career was imploding in real time. Hello, Patricia, Alexei replied graciously. Yes, Mr. Hamilton was just explaining that all rooms suitable for my medical condition are unavailable. Patricia's expression turned to horror. Medical condition? Mr. Hamilton, what are you talking about? Christopher stammered. I was concerned about guest safety and appropriate accommodations given Mr. Volkov's mobility limitations. Mobility limitations? Patricia's voice rose dangerously. Mr. Volkov, I apologize profusely. There is absolutely no issue with your reservation. Your junior suite is ready, and I'll personally upgrade you to our presidential suite at no additional charge. That's very generous, Alexei said calmly, but I'm more concerned about why my disability was considered a barrier to booking a room. Patricia turned to Christopher with barely controlled fury. Mr. Hamilton, did you attempt to deny Mr. Volkov's confirmed reservation based on his prosthetic leg? Christopher couldn't form a coherent response. Patricia's phone rang. Caller ID showed Four Seasons CEO. Mr. Volkov, Patricia said urgently. Our CEO is calling. May I put this on speaker? Of course, Alexei agreed. Patricia, this is John. I just learned that Alexei Volkov is at your property and was denied his reservation. Please tell me this is a misunderstanding. Patricia looked sick. Sir, I'm addressing the situation now. Alexei, the CEO, addressed him directly. I apologize on behalf of the entire Four Seasons organization. This is completely unacceptable. Thank you, John, Alexei replied calmly. Patricia, do you understand who you're talking to? The CEO asked pointedly. Mr. Volkov is one of our investors, sir. He's not just one of our investors. Alexei Volkov owns 40% of the Four Seasons New York property through Volkov Hospitality Group. He's one of our largest shareholders and sits on our investment advisory board. Christopher nearly collapsed. The guest he'd discriminated against literally owned nearly half the building. Furthermore, the CEO continued, Mr. Volkov's investment portfolio includes significant stakes in 47 luxury properties across North America. He's one of the most influential investors in the global luxury hospitality sector. Patricia stared at Alexei with complete understanding of the catastrophic error her staff had made. Mr. Hamilton, Patricia said coldly, you're suspended immediately pending investigation. Security will escort you from the property. Christopher's world collapsed in seconds. His discrimination had cost him his career at one of the world's most prestigious hotels. Mr. Volkov, Patricia continued, what can we do to make this right? I don't want compensation, Alexei replied. I want systemic change. This discrimination didn't happen because of one employee's bias. It happened because your training and culture allow it. 6 months later, Four Seasons Hotels implemented the Volkov Protocol, comprehensive disability awareness and inclusion training for all staff globally, focusing on unconscious bias elimination and legal compliance with ADA requirements. Christopher Hamilton was terminated for discriminatory guest service practices and violation of federal disability laws. He never worked in luxury hospitality again, and the incident became a case study in hotel management programs nationwide. Alexei used his influence as a major investor to require all 47 properties in his portfolio to implement similar anti-discrimination training and accessibility improvements. Most importantly, Alexei established the Accessible Luxury Travel Foundation, providing legal advocacy and education for disabled travelers facing discrimination in high-end hospitality settings. The foundation worked with federal agencies to strengthen ADA enforcement in luxury hotels, ensuring that physical disabilities never became barriers to accessing premium services. Four Seasons issued a public apology, paid a significant settlement to disability rights organizations, and became an industry leader in accessible luxury hospitality. The New York property now displays prominently at check-in. Luxury hospitality serves everyone with dignity, no exceptions. Alexei continued expanding Volkov Hospitality Group, which now includes ownership stakes in 73 luxury properties globally, proving that physical limitations don't limit business success or the right to equal service. Sometimes the guest you turn away owns the building you're standing in, and sometimes the person you judge by their prosthetic leg holds the power to transform your entire industry. Christopher Hamilton learned too late that in the world of luxury hospitality, the most valuable service is respect for every guest, regardless of how they walk through your doors.